Another official teaser from Glitch appeared on their Twitter account. The teaser features Jax and Gangle, who are now confirmed to be key characters in the new episode. As we saw in the trailer, Gangle will be genuinely displeased with Jax's work. Additionally, we got a glimpse of Orbsman and Pomni. As previously speculated, Pomni will be working the cash register, but Orbsman's role remains a mystery. He could either be one of Spudsy's directors or just a regular customer. But aside from this, there are a few more intriguing leaks and teasers to discuss. Recently, we've received tons of leaks about the new episode, especially concerning Jax and Gangle. We also learned about Albert, who, besides being the founder of Spudsy's, is tied to a massive secret within the amazing digital circus. But today, that's not our focus. Let's revisit the juiciest leaks and teasers from the upcoming episode and piece together a complete picture of everything that's about to unfold. Gooseworx keeps revealing more details about episode 4, and this time, I got my hands on a leak where Goose, in their usual style, talks about a random line in each episode. For episode 4, the line is, "What kind of mother do you think I am?" Many fans immediately thought these words refer to Ragatha, which would make sense given her behavior in each episode. It really does seem like she might want to play a motherly role.
Oh, and don't worry about the whole abandoning me for the exit thing. It's perfectly understandable what you were going through at the time, and there's no hard feelings. You're all good.
Here's an interesting theory involving a character we've only seen once, Orbsman. We know for sure he's going to play a key role in the upcoming adventure, but as for how he fits into it, that's still up for debate with plenty of theories flying around. I'll dive into a few of those soon, but first, let's focus on what Gooseworx said. It's entirely possible that this mysterious line could relate to Orbsman's mother. Picture this. Orbsman could be an average teenager whose parents dragged him to a fast food joint. Somewhere during their meal, something set Orbsman off, and in response, his mom hit him with that line. "What kind of mother do you think I am?" But that's not the only leak about this new episode. There's a whole bunch of leaks we'll dig into today, so stick around. Let's quickly run through all the leaks, then take a closer look at one character in particular. In an old teaser, there was a scene showing events from different episodes happening back to back, so we're 100% sure episode 4 is going to be set at the Spudsy's fast food joint, run by that weird dude Orbsman. Pay attention to how Jax seems super reluctant to get involved in the new adventure, especially compared to how he's acted in the past.
I call shotgun. Oh God, is that the horn? Ugh, that sucks. Gangle, you drive.
Is that well?
Ah, come on, that wasn't even scary. What, you scared of the vacuum cleaner too?
So, it's becoming pretty obvious that Jax knows what's coming and really doesn't want it to happen. As for Orbsman, he's only officially shown up twice in the digital circus, and Goose mentioned him once on Tumblr, but honestly, there wasn't anything useful or interesting there. The first time we saw him was in a teaser, and the only thing we really know about him is what his voice might sound like. Plus, there was a shampoo bottle in the musical adventure with Orbsman's face on it, but that didn't give us any solid info either. Every episode of the digital circus can basically be summed up with just one word, and that's exactly what Gooseworx showed us. The pilot didn't get that treatment, but episode 2 was perfectly summed up by the word boy, which totally captures the whole vibe of the second episode.
As I was saying, I happen to know a way into the Kingdom Waltz, if you'd be willing to help us out in return.
Hey, when did you—
Shut up, Licorice Hair. I'm so unbelievably disappointed right now.
Well, maybe there will be blood, death, and violence in the next adventure.
Ha 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 ha, how wholesome. Oh, hey, maybe I didn't leave the gate unlocked for nothing after all.
What? I thought he was dead. You still did that? Okay, wait. You did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
And of course, the word damn perfectly captures the mood of episode 3 too.
Oh, that's... no.
Now wait, how did he record this if he was in hell?
Let go of me!
I hope you're ready, because the next breath you take down there will be...
So, we can pretty much trust this leak, and the word for episode 4 is O. What exactly that means, I can't say for sure, but there's a chance something's going to happen that completely changes how we see the digital circus, the adventures, and the characters. Probably the very first and most important leak we've gotten is the list of characters that each episode is centered around, and episode 4 is all about one of the most mysterious characters, Gangle. At first, I thought this might be a pretty boring episode, Like, what can they really tell us about Gangle when there's someone like Jax, who you could write a whole book about? But after thinking about it, I realized we know almost nothing about Gangle, and she really doesn't get the attention she deserves in the digital circus. Why is her real face the tragedy mask? Why does she only seem happy when she's got the comedy mask on? And why is she so fragile? What makes her stay silent every time Jax messes with her? And why is Kinger her closest friend? As you can see, there are tons of questions, but almost no answers. Alright, now it's time to dive into the events, thoughts, and actions of one of the characters from the new episode, Gangle. This isn't really a surprise since she's the star and the main focus of episode 4. There was also a leak on the Japanese TADC account that'll come in handy later. Right from the start, we saw Gangle as this cheerful character, but just a few minutes in, the scene where Pomni appears totally wiped out all that positivity, and we found out that Gangle is actually a pretty depressed character. This has become a trend in the digital circus. Aside from the pilot, the same thing happened in episode 2.
So, our entire existence here is just LARPing. Yeah, this place is great!
Look! It's the princess!
All right, Gangle, when we catch up to him, I'll jump over, crawl inside, and shoot him repeatedly until they're unrecognizable.
And of course in episode 3 as well.
Everybody into the fractal noise! It's adventuring time!
Which door should we choose?
Not sure. Let's try this out.
In the pilot episode, we also saw that Gangle genuinely cares about the other characters, and even during her moments of depression, she still comes across as a pretty rational character. Every adventure has been more of a challenge for Gangle than for Pomni, and the main culprit behind that is Jax. In the pilot episode, we realized that Gangle is Jax's primary target. The second episode is the culmination of their relationship.
Gotta say, this is a lot more anticlimactic than I was hoping it'd be.
What were you hoping for?
You know, like one big final battle, bloodshed, death, chaos.
Back here!
Do it, or I'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing.
And the third episode only confirmed it. At this point, we're getting a clear picture. Gangle is an insecure girl who's doing her best to keep her sanity and survive, but there's one rabbit constantly trying to disrupt her peace. Episode 4 is going to be a turning point in this storyline. In it, we see that Jax clearly didn't want to work at this McDrive-inspired setting. It seems far too dull and unexciting for him, and as we've seen in previous episodes, Jax thrives on chaos and wild adventures.
Oh, hey, maybe I didn't leave the gate unlocked for nothing after all.
What? I thought he was dead! You still did that?
Okay, wait. You did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
If you take a closer look, it becomes obvious that it was Kane who forced Jax to take on this job. The next scene shows us Gangle, who looks very pleased for a couple of clear reasons. First, she has a happy and, most importantly, sturdy mask, allowing her to stay in a positive mood throughout the entire episode. And second, Gangle finally gets the chance to boss Jax around. That's why she cheerfully and smugly explains his duties. But judging by Jax's expression, he's clearly not happy. Or maybe he just doesn't care about anything she's saying. This is further emphasized by the message on his name badge. As we've seen from previous episodes and their trailers, events in the episodes tend to unfold in the same order as they do in the trailer. The next frame shows Jax visibly irritated by Gangle's instructions. Even in the most extreme situations, Jax is always looking for ways to entertain himself.
Is it really murder if it's delicious? Answer me that.
You make a great point.
No, bad point!
Why don't you leave this to me before I start thinking your hair looks like licorice? As I was saying, I happen to know a way into the Kingdom Walls. If you'd be willing to help us out in return.
Hey, when did you—
Shut up, licorice hair. Not sure. Let's try this out.
And episode 4 will be no exception. Right in front of Gangle, Jax once again starts acting rudely and disrespectfully toward the other residents. This time, his target is Ragatha, unlike before when Jax openly mocked and humiliated Gangle without a second thought.
What were you hoping for?
You know, like one big final battle, bloodshed, death, chaos. Do you guys have a second truck that flies?
They broke my comedy mask.
So, Kane, we having a new adventure today for the newbie or what?
Jax never hides his emotions, and this scene perfectly showcases that he's not the kind of character who can be easily broken. Even with more power than anyone else, Gangle still can't manage to dominate Jax emotionally. We won't dive into the Zubal's room scene, as it doesn't directly relate to the new adventure. But it's not just Gangle putting Jax in a tough spot. Let's recall that in the announcement for Season 1, Kane mentioned something about salaries. This suggests that all residents of the digital circus might receive some kind of reward, which could be used either within Spudsies or later in the digital circus itself. Now keep this scene in mind and think back to the dynamics between Jax and the other characters.
You, me, and Pomni will go check on Kaufmo, which leaves Crybaby and Hoo-Ha together to go handle the Zubal situation.
Do you think pairing them up together is a good idea?
Of course I do.
Try not thinking about it.
Or you could toughen up. I want to see what your funny cartoon body does.
Hey, take it easy.
Oh, take it easy, that's you.
It's pretty clear that Jax isn't exactly the best person to hang out with, and in this new adventure, we might witness some form of payback. Remember, Jax is taking orders and likely handing out food to customers arriving in cars, or whatever other transportation they're using. Chances are, we'll see some kind of point system where the number of points earned determines the salary each character gets. Naturally, the points will depend on the quality of the employee's work. Now let's go back to that scene, featuring Jax and Zubal. My gut tells me that these two characters were shown together for a reason. There's already some kind of magical connection between them.
You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby?
Yeah, no.
And Zubal turned straight.
My limbs straighten up and f*** off.
What about you?
He refuses to show us because he's a coward.
I want to keep the mystery alive. What do you, the viewers, think it is?
Will you stop doing that?
I'm convinced that all the characters in the digital circus have conspired to make Jax's job as difficult as possible, with Gangle leading the charge. Let me take a quick detour to tell you about another intriguing theory related to the new adventure, which also involves a point system. The premise is similar, but knowing Kane and his brilliant and chaotic ideas, it's possible that the goal of the adventure was to earn as many points as possible to avoid some kind of punishment. Honestly, that would make for an interesting storyline, but for some reason, the salary-based scenario feels more realistic to me. In this scene, we can see Zubal mockingly preparing a burger that the customer has been waiting on for quite some time. And if that customer ends up unhappy, it's Jax who's going to pay the price. Now that we've covered the first part, it's time to dive into the backstory. From previous episodes, we've learned that Jax thrives in chaos. It's what keeps him comfortable.
Hey, Gangle, you should ram into him.
What? You should not ram them. Pomni's still on board.
Do it, it'll be epic.
Why are there so many knives back here?
Do it, or I'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing.
And when there's no chaos, Jax immediately starts running into problems.
Unbelievably disappointed right now.
Well, maybe there'll be blood, death, and violence in the next adventure.
Ha 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 ha, how wholesome.
Hey, that's good of you, Pomni.
Let's take this dumb truck to the dumb kingdom, I guess.
In episode 3, we learned that with each new episode, Jax loses the ability to influence the other characters like he did in the pilot. They've learned how to deal with him.
Unfortunately, we still need to wait until your other teammates finish their adventure before I can grant you permission to leave.
Jax's main target has always been Gangle, as she's the only one who can't fight back. All of this, along with the details from the previous part of the video, leads us to believe that episode 4 could be a turning point, not just for Gangle, but even more so for Jax. Let's consider a few possibilities of what could happen to Jax after episode 4 ends. But first, we need to understand what kind of mood Jax will be in. Most likely, it will be a pretty rough day for Jax, one that will wear him down to the limit, all of his tormenting of others.
He actually asked me to give you this. So what was it like being stuck with the nutcase?
It wasn't that bad, actually. I can't hold it any longer.
Sure you can. We can't die from oxygen deprivation, remember?
Ultimately, this will lead to many wanting to teach him a lesson, and Jax will find himself completely alone in this digital circus. But if you think this will somehow change Jax, you're sorely mistaken. Remember the final scene of episode 2, after which many thought Jax would become calmer, only to later see that it didn't happen at all.
Is that well?
Come on, that wasn't even scary. What? You scared of the vacuum cleaner too?
What? Jax!
What? I thought we were supposed to capture all the ghosts.
Which door should we choose?
Not sure. Let's try this out.
It will be the same situation here. Even if, at the end of the episode, Jax appears exhausted and sad, it will only be because someone dared to mess with him. This means that in future adventures, Jax will go on a hunt with double the force, and everything we've seen so far will be just the appetizer before the main course.